Hi everybody, welcome to my webinar on my 7 retreat tips, although I think there's about 12, to create a profitable retreat and have repeat sign-ups. I want to welcome everybody here. I know there's people from New York that have got up super early at like 6 a.m. to tune in live. I know there's people from the UK, from Europe, and all over Australia listening. So that's just fabulous. It blows my mind that there's that connection between us all, that we all want to organise an amazing retreat and change people's lives. So this is my tips to creating profitable retreats and having repeat sign-ups, because they're two really important factors. So let me tell you a little bit about myself. So who am I? I've been running retreats in some form for over 20 years. They started off as summits and they were all about leadership. And I was really quite mesmerised with the fact that when people came together and started talking about their lives, their stories came out. They really felt connected to each other and really found a safe place to share themselves. So I started running them about 20 years ago, but my history with organising workshops and trainings and events went back a lot further since I was a teenager, when I was involved in the Girl Guides and youth groups and things like that. So my company, Sour Luas Adventures, was born about 5 years ago after a 3-month Eat, Pray, Love type pilgrimage to Southeast Asia. I left on my 40th birthday. I had my 2 boys in tow, and we travelled from Vietnam, from Ho Chi Minh City, right across down to Bali. And it was amazing. It was a time of rediscovering who we were as a family unit, but also who I was. And that my life as a social worker, which was the only career I knew, was not one that I wanted to keep doing. So now I facilitate retreats internationally in Southeast Asia, USA, Mexico, Europe, and at the start of 2018, we'll be branching into South Africa, and also next year we're going to India and Morocco as well, so it's very exciting. I also do a lot of training and mentoring others through online courses, one-on-one sessions, 2-day workshops and masterclasses. I just found there were people who were organising retreats that really needed some guidance in what they were doing, needed help organising things like budgets and planning, marketing and all those things. So, what are retreats? A retreat can change your life. If you haven't been on one, I really promote going on one before you take one, before you lead one. Retreats come in all shapes and forms and are well organised and will allow your participants the opportunity to expand their mind. They are different to having individual workshops, as they can incorporate varying experience that a standard program cannot. They're different. I see retreats that are like day retreats, and that's fine because you can still create a really transformational setting and experience, but taking people out of their ordinary lives and stepping them to somewhere extraordinary, whether it be an hour from home or 10 hours on a plane, can really be life-changing. People, in particular women, because let's be honest, it's mostly women that go on retreats, go on them to feel something. They want to learn something. They want to fill a void that is within them. I have experienced my own transformational experiences in retreats, and I was writing an article not that long ago, and I really realised that I sit in awe of their magic. I see people have these life-changing moments that really it affects their whole lives. They come as one person and go home just a little bit different or a lot different. And that's why I love them. I love watching people experience something for the first time, whether it's connection with others that they haven't felt before, whether it's seeing somewhere totally new, watching someone walk out of the train station in Venice and seeing the Grand Canal for the first time is just so awesome and inspiring. I use the word awesome a lot. So my tip number one, be really, really clear on your why. Why is it you want to run a retreat? What do you want to give to others? What do you want to add to your business? And let's be honest, the bottom line of the cash and the profit at the end is really enticing, but it's got to be more than that. You've got to really want to give what you've got to other people and give them something exceptional. My number two tip is know your story. What is your story? What's happened to you that's brought you to be the person that you are? You know, I understand a lot of us have experienced trauma and have experienced things that have changed the way we are. But it's really important to know what pushes your buttons. How do you deal with it? Have you dealt with your stuff? I see women, and we all know these stories, you go on retreats and women start talking about their stories. And that's why I want you to be really clear on yours, because if someone has a story that evokes feelings in you that may be related to your own story, it's good to have a way to handle them. It's always good too to have a person back home that you can send a message to, you can Skype with, you can call, that you can say, hey, I just need to debrief. If you've got a co-facilitator there or an assistant, use them. But you need to be 100% on board for the whole time that you're on the retreat. And if suddenly you find yourselves delving into your own stuff and your own trauma, it can be really hard to be present for the people that you're taking on the retreat. The when and the where. This is a little sneaky tip. I haven't numbered this one. The when and the where are super important. No point going to a beach resort when it's cold. No point organising to go somewhere that other people don't want to go to. So when? Look at things like school holidays. Is it around important days like Mother's Day, Father's Day, Christmas, Easter, those sorts of things? You know, some of us do want to escape for the school holidays, but knowing our kids are home, it often makes it a bit impossible. Or it might be easier to send them to grandma's if it is school holidays. The where. Do you want to go somewhere that people don't want to go? No, I don't think so. So think really carefully. And that's the beauty of Google, is we can really research the places we want to go to. You know, hey, I go to places that I've always wanted to travel to. And the fact that I can Google all the information and that I can make contact with locals in those places is exceptional. Okay. Tip number 3, know who your ideal client is. So this is Shale, and she's my ideal client. She's in her 50s. She has a disposable income. She wants to explore the world and wants to work on herself emotionally and spiritually. Shale was referred to me through another client, a friend, and she came on her first retreat with me in 2014. Then she came to Vietnam in 2015, and this year she's coming to Europe. So I've seen her go from this person who wanted to change things about her life, who wanted to make a difference in her world. And she came, we talked about lots of stuff, and then she went home, did some work, and watching her last year in Vietnam was beautiful. She'd just blossomed and come so far. So she's my ideal client because she's in her 50s, she is single, she has a disposable income, and she doesn't have to consult with anybody about coming on a retreat. To me, that's perfect. Often I get women who say, oh, I can't come, I can't leave my husband or my partner or my boyfriend or girlfriend or children or pets or work, or there's not enough money, all these things. I don't want it to be stressful for people. I've done work with people in getting them prepared to come on a retreat, but I don't want them to be stressed about those things while they're away. I want the journey to be smooth, and that's why that's my ideal client. If you don't know who your ideal client is, then there's lots of experts out there who can help you find your niche. You know, there's lots of sites on the internet that you can go into and you can get checklists and tick the type of attributes you want for your clients. Tip number 4, your retreat, its name, theme and promises. The first thing people see about your retreat is its name. So it's got to have a catchy name. It's got to have something that's going to make them want to keep looking, to scroll down the web page, to keep looking at your brochure, to read your advertisement, something that draws them in. The themes and the promises. The theme has got to be something that is relatable to your clients. It's got to be something that they know you for. So things like, say you are a business coach, you wouldn't necessarily organise a retreat on styling because people don't know you for that. It's got to be something that your clients want and that you're known for. And your promises, what are you sending them home with? What are they going to walk away? So when someone says to you, well, tell me about your retreat, why should I come? You can say, we're going to, and I'll just use Bali as an example, we're going to Bali. It's going to be 7 days. The retreat is on mindfulness. You will come home with this, 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 and this. All the things that you can reel off that they will get worth out of. They're the things you need to put on your webpage too. So things that are tangible. So you can say you're going to go home with a 30-day mindfulness plan. You're going to be able to facilitate your own meditations on mindfulness, things like that, so that it's tangible, so that people can see the worth of what they're getting. And this is more than the monetary worth, that, you know, they're getting 7 nights accommodation, they're getting 10 meals, all those things. So the things that people can see that are tangible that they can take home. So a journey of grandeur, what does that evoke in that name? What are the things you think of when you see that? No, that is a theme for my upcoming retreat to Europe, and it's all going to be all about soaking in the magnificence of the architecture and the history and those sorts of things, and the food too, of course. Tip number 5, your itinerary. Please, please, please make sure it's balanced and includes downtime. If you're doing lots of workshops and lots of learning, your people need time to absorb. And whether that's time by themselves, time's just free time, or whether it's out doing sightseeing stuff, you need to have time where they can just breathe. It is so important. I see so many retreats that are all about the workshops, and they're going from, 9 till 5 and then 7 till 10, which is great. That's a certain audience, but it does cut off a lot of people. If you're going, say you're going on a retreat to Athens or somewhere amazing like the Greek islands, you're not going to want to be in workshops all the time. You're going to want to be out exploring, learning about the culture, showing your people the essence of the place you're in. So think about the other activities that you'd like to do other than what you're teaching. And knowing your itinerary is so important when it comes to doing your budget, which is the next tip. So tip number 6, the budget. Budget to make a profit. Include everything and always include a miscellaneous amount per person. Now, I do have a formula for this, but we don't really have enough time to go into that today. Unfortunately, it would take me another 30 minutes just to explain that. But there is a formula. So I work out my wholesale costs for the participant. I then work out my costs, and that includes a single room, because I believe as a facilitator we should always have our own room. So then we get that downtime and have that self-care ourselves. And I always work out how much I want to make per head. I have a minimum number, and then I, divide it and add it and come up with my final figure. It can be quite complicated and quite overwhelming sometimes, like the marketing, which we're going to talk about in a moment. but it is about making sure that everything you need for your people, even things like photocopying, are you taking workbooks, you need to get them printed, welcome packs, extra activities like massages if you're including those. You might be going somewhere and including like a cooking school or a jewellery making class, those sorts of things. It's always so, so important to include everything. And this is where most people get let down because they don't think of things like their Facebook ad marketings, their parking at the airport, their, the cost of a single room for themselves, their meals and drinks. Often people leave things out, and that's why often you don't break even, you don't budget on having a minimum number, and people lose money. And really, you're going to be doing a lot of work in organising your retreat. So you really do need to be able to see that there'll be a profit. I always budget on $1,000 per head, particularly when I'm organising a retreat myself, if not a bit more. If it's a bigger retreat, going longer, we're going further from home, it might be $1,500, $2,000. It's all workable in the bigger scheme of things. And if you're presenting an amazing, beautiful retreat, some extra on top of what you're already charging is not going to make any difference. I say it's the difference between custard, standard custard from the supermarket or out of a packet, compared to creme brulee. Now, which would you prefer? Something beautiful with caramel on top, beautiful flavours, all those things, or custard? Weigh it up. Okay, tip number 7. I know it's a little bit small. Launching and marketing is my tip number 8. But launching is one of the biggest questions I get asked. How soon should I launch my retreat? I work on the premises of $5,000 plus should be launched 12 months before. And because there's some British people on here, I've put in that's about 2,800 British pounds. This is to give people time to save, to plan, to know that they're coming away and not worrying about money. 3,000 to 5,000, 8, 9 months. 3,000 is not so big, and you can see that 3,000 and under is 4 to 6 months before the retreat. One thing I also get asked is how soon I should launch an Australian retreat or a local retreat. And it works on the same premises. If you're doing one that's, say, $2,000 over 4 days, loads of value, those sorts of things, I would launch that at least 4 to 6 months before, just to give people time to pay for it. Marketing is huge. Please, please, please have a sales funnel. Always bring clients in at a freebie at the top. Have a webinar, have a free ebook, have free one-on-one classes, have an offer. So that's stuff that people love. The people, we all get newsletters in our inbox, but make them buzz. Make them huge. Make your people want to open, because we all know the average on MailChimp is about 33% opening. So that intro level, that free stuff. Have low-level things, low-cost things like classes, workshops, resources, weekend retreats, those sorts of things before you branch into the bigger thing, your higher offering, which in this case is a retreat. Have things that build up the trust. Slide them down that funnel. It could take people 12 months, 2 years. I've had a lady that's been on my mailing list for 2 years, and she has just booked to come on a retreat. So it's worth it. It's worth that weekly newsletter to have her finally go, hey, what? That one appeals to me. I'm coming on that. Not everybody who comes into a sales funnel will come out. It's just the way it is. And I think there's some groups of theories that say 1,000 people come into a funnel and 10 or 15 might end up purchasing your higher end project. We'll see. I am on the belief if you build up that relationship with them, you make them feel special. When you're dealing with them, that's when you make that ultimate relationship of trust. Then they're more likely to come into your retreats or what you're offering. Last but not least is my tip number 9, systems, risk management and legalities. Please make sure you've got some sort of systems in place when people sign up, have automated emails. You know, sometimes those things fail, so keep an eye on what your systems are doing. Have spreadsheets to put people into it. Make sure that it all flows so it's easier for you, so that you know 6 months out of what's happening and 1 week out of the retreat what's happening. Have it all in place. It's worth a day of sitting down just to do all that stuff. Please, and I haven't put this on there, please keep track of all the money that's coming in. It's awful, and I've done it, when you've got to suddenly go through 12 months of bank statements just to make sure that you've got everybody's money recording. You know, I've done that and it's just a pain to have to do it. So if you've got a spreadsheet at when the money comes in, or at the end of the day or the end of the week, just put in what everybody's paid, just so it makes it easier for you. Another thing is have a risk management and incident plan for when you're on a retreat. Have some paperwork that you can fill out that states what's happened, and it can be something like somebody losing something and you've got to go to the police station and make a police report so they can claim it on insurance, someone getting gastro or spraining an ankle, right through to more serious things. If you've got that paperwork, then when you get home, it just makes it a whole lot easier. And please, finally, make sure you are covered legally. Make sure that you have the appropriate insurance for your business. Now, I know a lot of you don't run ongoing retreats like I do, but please make sure that you've spoken to your business insurance and that they've okayed, they've got a clause in there for you to run retreats. Because you don't want to go away, something happen, and you get sued and lose stuff, lose your house, lose your business, those sorts of things. And yes, when people sue you, it is your insurance company they're suing, but it's also your reputation. So if you've got everything set up so that you're covered legally, then it's less rigmarole or stress. So that's it. That's all my tips that I have for you today. Now, I really wanted to offer you some things that were really special. And I know a lot of you are overseas and so can't come to my live training here in Victoria that's coming up. So I wanted to tell you about a few things. So the first one is my UK training. I'm so excited to be coming to the UK in September, the 21st, the 22nd and the 23rd in London. When I say London, one of the outer suburbs of London, so parking's a bit easier, those sorts of things. And I'm offering this today from this webinar for £400. That's 3 days of 2 days of all the logistical stuff about retreats, learning about marketing and budgeting and itineraries and all the logistical stuff, and a masterclass, which is the 23rd. So being able to put all the things you want to do, all the magic you want to create into a beautiful retreat. I'm only going to have 5 people at this masterclass, so you'll get really individualised attention from me. And if you're coming in from out of London, I will have an Airbnb house, so I'm happy to let you stay there. I've got family and friends coming and they're going to be leaving before the training, so I'm really happy for you to come and stay. So if you go onto my webpage, look under the Retreat Facilitators tab, and this offer is only open for 24 hours. If you see it a little bit later, just send me a message and we'll see what we can do. But I really realise that there's no training like this in the UK. So I really want people from Europe and from all over the UK to come and experience this. And I only have 15 places. So please get in fast because some of these are booked up without me even launching. For the Australians, I have my last online training for this year starting the 18th of July. And it's my last one because I'm going to be away. It's 28 days. It's all the logistical things of learning about retreats, plus some live workshops, online live workshops, and you get 2 Skype calls with me. And I'm pricing that for people today at 297 Australian dollars. I only have 10 places at this price. After that, it's back up to 497. So if you can't make it to a live workshop, or you can't make it to the one in Britain, which would be a shame, the one in London, please talk to me about this one because it really is very good value. It's online modules. You get a copy of my retreat manual, which people at the live training get as well. You get all my paperwork, which is received at all the trainings. So consider this one. And then lastly, if you're in Victoria and you want to come to a live workshop weekend that includes a masterclass on the Monday and all accommodation, this is the 6th, the 7th and the 8th of August, so it's really soon. It's all the training, accommodation, most of your meals, and getting to spend a whole 3 days with me. What more could you want? And I'm offering that for $500. We're also looking, which is a bit special, we may have a really special photographer coming on the Monday who can do a really good deal for you to get some beautiful photos for your business. So that's it from me. I hope the main things you've taken away are to consider about your why, your story, when and where you're going, planning an awesome magical itinerary, doing a budget that you do make money and that you do walk away from going, that was awesome, I haven't lost money. Look at this $10,000 or $20,000 in my pocket, because it really is possible. And that you have all the systems in place to make it smooth and make it amazing for you. You know, I say a lot of the time, retreats change lives, they just do. And they do. I've seen it, I've felt it, I've watched people do it, and I can't wait to see what amazing retreats you all design and run. And, you know, even if you just want to stay on the mastermind page that I've got on Facebook, just put your stuff there, write about what you're doing, share it, because there's always great tips and beautiful people on there. And like I said at the beginning, we're all connected through this magical weave of wanting to take people away and change people's lives. So have a great rest of the day, and I will talk to you all soon. Bye. Thank you for joining me. It's been fabulous. Bye.